Now today on this episode of Moscato and Mortgage Mondays, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite things in the entire world, which is the new construction process. I absolutely love new construction. Now, what is so amazing to me and what is probably going to be one of the most special closings that I have had in my career is my best friend is actually purchasing a new construction home. And it has just completely reignited in me the new construction process. From beginning to end, it has been completely seamless. It has been quick. It has been just everything we could have both hoped for. She literally asked me, like, is this entire process supposed to be this easy? And I'm like, well, one, you're working with not only your best friend, but one of the best realtors in Atlanta. And there's not as much competition right now because of the volatility of the market. So, side note, if you were thinking about purchasing a home and you wanted to avoid the bidding wars, the paying over appraised value, all that kind of stuff, now is the time to move forward. And because of the volatility of the market and because interest rates are so high, there are so many more incentives in new construction communities. And if you're not familiar with the process or with some of these terms, incentives are different things that new construction communities and builders will offer to the buyer in order to basically ignite them to purchase a home with that specific community. So, for example, the biggest thing is going to be closing costs. Right now, there are so many different new construction communities that are offering, I'm talking about $10,000 depending on the price point. I have clients going under contract at the $700,000 price point that are offering $30,000 towards your total closing costs. There are different ways that you can use that contribution from the builder. You can use it towards a rate buy down. So we know obviously interest rates are high. Everybody's talking about it. I am a solutions-based realtor, which anytime that there's a problem, I want to come up with what is a specific solution to either help my borrower still get in the home of their dreams, or what can I do to save them as much money as possible? What can I do to make the process as easy as possible? So because interest rates have spiked, these different incentives can be used to buy your rate down, whether you want to temporarily buy it down or you want a permanently fixed lower interest rate. There are a number of different options that we can explore. The closing cost contribution can also be towards just your total cash to close. So we know that typically your down payment is about 3% and your closing costs are about 4%. That's a total of 7% of the purchase price. Now, if you're getting $10,000 and let's say your total cash to close is $20,000, you pay that $10,000 from the builder and all you have to bring is an additional $10,000 to closing. So that literally cuts in half what your cash to close is. You can use it towards design options if you are going to be moving forward in a community that is allowing you to upgrade countertops, flooring, if you want to choose different cabinets, if you want to add on a deck in the back, if you want to add an additional bedroom to your floor plan. All of these different things are additional add-ons that the builder is basically giving you money in order to allow yourself additional upgrades to your property. And then, of course, lastly, the purchase price. If you're going to be moving forward with a property that is $600,000 and they're giving you $30,000, you can make that applicable to the purchase price, reduce that to $570 in this example, which will ultimately reduce your monthly mortgage, because we know that you're going to be paying principal, interest, property taxes, and homeowner's insurance, all surrounding this purchase price that you have of the property that you select. Now, I want to walk through the new construction process from beginning to end and kind of go over the major benefits of it. I don't think that there are any cons at all, so I don't really have a pros and cons list. I just have a pros list. So let's kind of start from the top. So once you find a new construction community and you decide to go under contract, the purchase price is pretty much fixed. There's not a whole lot of negotiation because they kind of have their preset price increases. And even though the market is shifty right now, it's still, for the most part, a buyer's market because we're still low on inventory and property values are still maintained. We have not seen a major decrease across all different counties of purchase prices. So the price is pretty much what it is. Of course, we can, try to negotiate a little some here and there, but for the most part, that is standard, and there is no due diligence period. So unlike resale, where you have a set time period to change your mind for any given reason at all. If you wake up and say, I don't want to purchase in this neighborhood, if you say, I've researched some additional things about the neighborhood and I'm unhappy with whatever and I want to terminate, you have the ability to do so with resale. With new construction, there is not any due diligence period. There's no time to just wake up and change your mind. Your earnest money is non-refundable from the day of contract. So once you submit whatever that earnest money is, there's no going back, there's no getting a refund unless there was something to do with your finance contingency. Now, that is the only thing that is relatively similar to a resale process is the finance contingency. That is the time period that you have to terminate based on your financing not being secure. But we know that working with my team and I, once you are pre-approved, you are going to see it through to the closing table. So, if for some reason, let's say you were to lose your job or anything, God forbid, there's a designated amount of time that as long as any unforeseen circumstance having to do with your finances, as long as that happens within this finance contingency, that's pretty much the only time that you will receive a refund of your earnest money. Now, your closing date is going to be determined by the completion of your new construction home. Now, depending on when you go under contract, depending on what phase of construction you're in, that's going to determine that closing date. So let's say they've already started drywall and they're, moving along with the process. That could be anywhere from 3 to 6 months. If they haven't even broken ground yet, or they're waiting to receive permits, or they're waiting on another phase in the community to completely close out before they start releasing lots in another phase, that could be anywhere from 12 to 18 months. It really does all depend. Now, with the closing date, you are not able to move into that property until that new construction community receives their certificate of occupancy. Most of the time, that is in line with your closing date, but I have had clients where we had to delay for one reason or another. The community didn't receive their certificate of occupancy when they expected to. So of course, just like any transaction, you have a lot of different layers. You have a lot of different moving parts that can affect certain things, but for the most part, they have anticipated weather delays, all type of different things that could possibly delay your closing for any reason. Now, that brings me to my biggest point with new construction. Their contracts are designed to protect the builder because it's not on a traditional form that we use in our everyday transactions with resale or when a seller is selling a home, the contracts that we use. Every different new construction community uses a new construction contract that is tailored to protect them ultimately. So if they need to delay for any reason, there's no consequences, there's no penalties on the builder's end. However, on the buyer's end, if you were to have to delay for any reason at all, there normally is a per diem per day that is affiliated with that. And a per diem per day means there is a pre-designated fee that is associated with every single day that you have to delay closing as the buyer. So let's just say you're having some issues with your financing, or you have some additional documentation that you need to submit that is causing us to have to extend closing, and the per diem per day is $100, and you've extended for a full 7 days, that's going to be an additional $700 that is added to your closing cost. But like I said, working with me and my team, I can assure you that we do not ever have any delays. And one of my preferred lenders actually offers a closing date guarantee of $15,000 that they will give to the builder or whoever the seller is if we have to delay for absolutely any reason at all. That's how assured of ourselves and assured of our process that we are. Now, with new construction, the reason why I advocate for it so much is because the biggest complaint that I get about home ownership is from my young single girls that want to buy a home, but they don't want the maintenance. They don't have to worry about getting things fixed. They want to move into a home that is brand new and turnkey. Well, with new construction, you are starting out at the life expectancy of every single major appliance. And let me tell you, from someone that has bought and sold real estate multiple times, the biggest headache in the world is when you have to fill out that seller's disclosure and explain everything that you know to be wrong with the property, as well as how old is every single appliance. And when I say appliance, that does not only include your microwave, dishwasher, fridge, and stove. That also includes your water heater, your AC unit, everything that's in the house. You're also starting out at the new life expectancy of a roof. A roof can last you 25, 30 years, but if you're moving in a resale property and that home was built, 15 years ago and nothing was ever done to the roof, you're coming in on that time frame. As opposed to new construction, everything is completely brand new. So you can at least hope to not have any major issues or any major things that you have to spend money on for at least the first 10 to 15 years. Now, also with new construction, typically every new construction community offers either a 1.8 or a 110 builder's warranty, or either a 2.8 or a 210. It just kind of depends. Of course, it's going to vary. But what that is that for the very first 1 or 2 years, things that are protected are going to be your plumbing, your electrical, things like that. As far as 8 to 10 years, it's going to be the bigger items like your roof are protected, the foundation, anything that is major or structural. So whenever I tour new construction communities, I love the ones that do allow the client to pick different things that they want as far as customization. Now, every single community doesn't offer that depending on the price point. Again, there will be variations, but I love to accompany my clients and go to the design center appointment where we can choose what cabinets look good with what countertops and what flooring and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of my favorite process, and I've done both new construction and resale, so I actually truly can appreciate the differences in both. But if you are looking to build from the ground up, if you are looking to start your new construction process, I am a new construction expert because I have worked with almost every builder in the entire world. I know these contracts like the back of my hand, and I know how to still advocate for you. Your on-site agent might tell you that you don't need a realtor, but there are are things that can come up and things that can happen in the new construction process, and you need an expert that is going to protect your best interests at all costs. So click the link in my bio, put yourself on my schedule, let's have a conversation, and I cannot wait for you guys to join me next Monday for our next topic. I'll see you guys soon.